Okay, before sleeping, I feel it is nice to record this video. Okay, since I graduated in December 2024, life has not been that easy. Easy to me, like things flowing like the way someone may generally want them to flow. When I finished my course, and I graduated, I I lacked I lacked I lacked opportunities to stay in the town where I was learning. I even tried to go back to the institution where I did my attachment, but unfortunately there were no chances. So I had to remain with only one option, to come back home, which in most cases many people think it is a terrible idea. But to me, because you are coming back to start again, you're coming back to your wood where almost everything is controlled. I think it is not a bad idea to come back home when you are coming back for short term. For long term maybe it may be bad, but for short time basis, I don't think it is a bad place. You can come back and reset and go back to the place where you want to be. So for my case, I came back without having any other thought of where I would go, where I would start. So I came back home, and I was home for about a year. Then I got this, I applied for this job. It was a relationship officer. That was how the company stated the position, a relationship officer. And before getting the job, I had to travel to Nairobi. Nairobi is about 370 something kilometers from my village. So I had to travel to Nairobi for the job interview. And as you know, a job where you are linked with someone. This is the guy who we went with the same university. You get to know maybe what are they going to ask. You'll be prepared for the outcome of the interview. And I was really prepared for that interview. It was my first interview. Yeah, in my entire career, I've never been to an interview. So I was that much prepared. And I found it was something very relaxed. It was not as I had thought it before. So the interview went on successfully, and before I know it, I got a job. I even didn't know it. I was still strolling the streets of Nairobi. Nairobi is not a place where I've been severally. I can count the times that I've been to Nairobi. They are not that too much. So if you find the time to be in the city, you have to stroll about. And when I was still strolling, the HR called me. That hello Seth, the interview that you had attended earlier in the morning, we are glad to inform you that we have selected you for the position, and we have placed you at a branch called Keanja. I was like happy. And things moved really fast. It was on a Friday. That interview had happened on a Friday. It was on a Friday. Then Saturday, I had to travel back to my village on that Friday evening. Then Saturday, Sunday, then they wanted me to report to that job on Monday. And plus there were some documents that I want to resend to the HR via email. But all this time I need to know that these things were to be done. Later when I was in the car heading back home, because I had to travel overnight that day, when I saw all the requirements that they wanted. Plus again, Coming back home, you must put things in order. There were some goats that I was looking after, my goats. So, you have to find who is taking care of them, many things. And instead of reporting to that job on Sunday evening, I had to report to that job on Monday, the day that I was to report. You know, uh, I didn't have the place to stay. I didn't have that thing was just so abrupt, But the advantage is that the town that they placed me, that's Keancha, is not far from my place, from my village. It's approximately some 30, roughly 30 kilometers from where I stay, from my village. So getting there was not that tough. That Monday morning I had to order a motorbike, and she that early morning called. I went there. eh, No mattress, no cooking gas. I just went with my clothes. uh, and reaching there, I thought it was just any other job, office job, the way the company had polished that position. This company is a microfinance company. They polished it so well that you think it is just this office job where you will be swinging in a chair, taking tea. But that was not the case. It was something that I had never thought before. I had never thought of working for a microfinance institution, nor did I know what they were really doing. You know. I think I should blame my research because I didn't do prior research. I didn't make calls to ask, what are these and these. I didn't do that, and failing to do that failed me a lot, because when I entered there, I was actually shocked, and I wanted to leave that job in that first day. Uh, so this is what happened. You know, I am just learning that job, and when you enter a new place, you are supposed to survey, to look and know what is happening in this place within that first day. So within that first day, I had already figured out what was taking place in that branch, because the head office is in Nairobi, and several branches countrywide. So within that few hours that I was there, I was able to figure out what was taking place here, and how to be best prepared. And I think the time that I had drafted that letter was to send it to the manager. So I'll draft it at it was around, it is 9:30 at night, because uh, the people that I had joined there, uh, they they went for the follow-ups, Now microfinance where you deal with money. Sometimes you have to do those follow-ups even late at night. So by 9:30 they were still not back. The team was not back. That's when it dawned on me, because in that office I was left alone. It dawned on me of the nature of work that is here, and I penned down everything. I did it on a notepad in one of the apps in the phone. And I was to send that letter to the manager the following day. But before I did it, the following morning, one of the colleagues who hosted me, I took the courage and sent it to him and told him, "No, Anthony, look at your WhatsApp. There is this message that I've sent to you." And before even thinking otherwise, the guy opened his WhatsApp and read it. Immediately after reading, he started canceling me. No, this and that, how to find work. how it is difficult in this Kenya. Many things, maybe I can say that maybe I can say that from his talks, you know, he somehow convinced me to do the work, even though my heart was not willing. But I had to do it because I was like, you've just come from your village. This is your first job. You've never been employed anywhere. This is your first job. Imagine turning it down and going back to the village. Do you think it will be a trend? Every other job will just do the same. So these things weighed down on me, and I said, I am a man. In as much as tough as it will be, let me immerse myself into this and produce my best. So I entered the job. It was very tough because our mandate was to give out loans first. You are supposed to look for the customers. You do the checks by yourself. You weigh who and who should I give this money. You go to their businesses, you check the size of the business, and before doing anything, before sending the actual money, you go to this potential class place. Then you fill a form. You have this client and the guarantor. Then after that, you come back, then send the details. Then this client gets the money. Then it is also your mandate to make sure that as per the installment that this customer said that you will repay this money for, you make sure that each and every installment is paid in time. And you just make sure that all the payments are made. They know how struggling business owners are because those loans that were given out, the majority of the people who are taking these loans are those people who are not that well off. They need these loans to run their business. They need these loans to survive. And you sometimes you might find that this customer that you have is having several loans with other companies because, for example, in that small town that we were operating, there were like more than five other microfinance institutions that were lending to this same small scale, traders. So the work becomes hectic. It is your strategies, that will aid you in collecting this money because even these customers know who is weak and who is strong. If you're weak, they'll prioritize the other company whose agent is a bit more strong and aggressive. So at times you find that you had to manufacture your aggressiveness based on the customer that you are dealing with. Because let me say I have 4 customers. The strategy that I used for the first one is different to the second one, to the third one, and the fourth one because these people are totally different people. They might be doing the same business, selling groceries or having a shop. mm. They might be all women, but how you will handle each and every one of them is entirely different. This is something that I learned with the time. And I can say that the first few months was very hectic on my side because remember this is a portfolio that I inherited. Uh, these customers are not mine. I am not the one who searched for them. And the guy who was taking care of them had left. And I've never worked in any institution like this, so I'm getting this training for the first time. And it was very hectic. I remember sometimes I felt like the manager was too harsh on my side, but in such environment, you don't want to show these emotions that so and so is taking you up. You want just to fit in, just want to learn, and grow. And I can remember that as per the going, the work seems the how to knowing each and every customer, it became a little bit easier. I could just look at this person or talk to him. The first word that this person utters, just know this kind of a person, and this is the strategy that I'm going to use. Of course, not at every time that you will be correct, but at least 80% of the time you will be right. And it went it went like that, but something happened. The more I continued to be there, the more that I understand these customers and recruited even more new ones that I myself had searched for them. The more that I felt like this job is not for me. And there are those ones that I wanted to leave, but again, there's somebody that I was paying with some parts of my salary, to take care of the goods that I left at home. And so I would think of these instances. Where will the money come from after leaving this job? Where will how will I sort these bills? But again, this is a job that the money that I was being paid was not enough, because after paying all my expenses, sometimes the last week to payments, I would struggle. No money, and my mother was so nice. We would call her mom, so look this and this, and she would bail me out for the last maybe 2 or 3 days before the salary. So I felt like I'm straining. You start the day very early, 6:30, 6 you are awake, and by 7 you should be in the office. And they know the time that you come back to the house late at night, bro. Almost sometimes after coming back, cooking, and even being ready, find that it is midnight. You know, it was and everything revolved around this work. Be it the weekends, be it the holidays, you are only thinking which customer has paid money, who has not paid, and how are you going to ask each and every person, how to put your work in order. So I felt like, I'd invested so much time in this job that my personal life had been neglected. It reached a point where, because my book had started being stable, I was to apply for a salary increase. But even this thing now felt meaningless to me, because we work because of the money. And when the situation has reached where that money is now meaningless, you just want to leave the place. So for 3 straight months, I struggle out to leave. I struggle to fit in the job, but just felt that this is not my place, and I resigned. I resigned. Some of my colleagues felt that I was joking, because there was that one that I told them that I'm leaving, but the regional manager called me and we talked, and I resumed. But some during one of the many meetings that he used to hold, kind of he revisited what I had talked about, because he was like, I know some of you want to leave the work. Nobody is forcing you the work. If you want to leave, you should leave immediately. I felt like this guy was targeting me, and he was targeting me in a meeting, but he didn't want to talk to me directly. You know, I felt it really bad. Even that day, I was like, should I leave this job immediately? No, I don't like those situations where somebody talk like that. But I told myself, hey, persevere. It's only 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks were hell on earth. I persevered. That I left the job, and currently I'm jobless. Since I left that job, I'm jobless, and I don't want, I don't want, maybe I don't want to be employed, maybe I want, because since then, I think the only job application I've done is once, and it was the first week after I left that job. Since then, I've never applied. Even if a friend of mine or anybody sends me a link of a job now, the probability of me not not sending my applications to that job is almost 0.5. No, I don't like. I feel like I don't want that job where I'm tied to it. No, something like freelancing can be good. You do with that person for some time, then you leave it. You have that time for your free time. But again, the bad thing about that is you don't have money in your pocket, and with no money in your pocket, no, it's sometimes very bad. But with me, I think those periods before being employed, I will sometimes spend almost even 2 months without money. You know, I don't know even how I survived those periods. I would sometimes go dry without money, but you know, I learned to deal with my situation the way it is. To understand myself. So even now, when there's those instances where I don't have money, then it doesn't bother me that much. You know, I just tell myself, no, I don't have a wife. I don't have those those bills to pay. It is just me. Why should I be bothered? You know, but at the end of the day, you need money because there's that lifestyle that I want for myself in the future, and I need money to do it. But I'm contented with what I have. If that life's rich me, I'll hold it with my two hands and live that life. If it doesn't, don't know. We don't know what our destiny. And here I am trying to push, you know, currently making these YouTube videos. I don't know where it will reach with me, but here I am doing it. And I hope to do more about this. I'll be just recording myself, posting them. And if you watch this video to the end, thank you. Nice time.